The deleterious effects of inbreeding are well documented. From King Tut in 1324 to the Habsburgs in the 1700s, humans have been banging siblings since time immemorial. Sadly, this holds true for anime characters as well. In this essay, anime started in the before times, 1917, before woman existed. You can tell this because in the first anime, Namakura Gutana, I can't read my teleprompter this far away, there are no women. They're just two fucking doofuses, just like waltzing around. There's like this blind guy, I don't know, there's a guy with a sword, he's like, and that's all he does the entire, oh my god, is he gonna kill him? Dude, run, oh fuck no, he's just gonna backflip out of the frame. I should have expected that, that makes sense. But what's important to realize from this is not the fact that they are killing each other, I guess. I don't know if there's a camaraderie or something. I don't speak Japanese. What's important to realize is they have Pinocchio noses. Do you see how long these things are? Right there, right there, right there. They're like a bulbous mushroom. Terrible. I bet they sniff really well. I bet their sniffing is like a fucking dog. They're fantastic. Unfortunately, this won't last. Whoa, how did we get here? It's the 1970s, 60 years past in the blink of an eye. This is the time of personal liberation and the CIA-backed coup of Salvador Allende, the democratically elected leader of Chile. Wow, disco music, woo! But back to anime. We have three big anime from this time, really. We have Space Battleship Yamato, we have Lupin 3, and we have Tomorrow's Joe. Now, three characters, boom, Yuki, Catherine, and Yoko. Do you see these fucking noses? And do you see the faces? These people aren't supernaturally beautiful. They've got normal noses-ish. They have normal faces-ish. These are like human-like creatures with the ability to smell and the ability to breathe through their nose. It's the 80s, and Studio Ghibli changes the game. We got My Neighbor Totoro. We've got Kiki's Delivery Service, amongst others. And you know what those shows all have in common? Boom, 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 boom. I can't even point enough directions because the nose has been lost. Now, it's still there, mind you. We've still got a line a little bit. But compared to what we had last decade, what happened? We have Dragon Ball. Dude, Krillin doesn't even have a nose. They all got little triangles and a little bit of shading. Of course, not all anime are going to lack the noses. We've got Fist of the North Star. We've got Wicked City. But what's important to realize is that the most popular anime of the 80s, Dragon Ball, Studio Ghibli, guess what they all have in common? They're all missing a nose, just a little bit of a downgrade. And unfortunately, this goes on to influence the next decade of anime. On a side note, Reagan says that the 9 scariest words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. How about I have a gun to your head? That sounds a lot scarier. Beep, 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 beep. Now, an important thing to remember here when I'm talking about inbreeding is it's not necessarily inbreeding of the anime characters because unfortunately, and I learned this the hard way, anime characters are not real. So no, what I'm talking about is ideas, the inbreeding of ideas. You have the most popular anime of the 80s. You're like, wow, I want to make that popular anime. What do? What if I just copy the character design? The face, the nose is missing. People are like, giant eyes, nose? Wow, what if we make gianter eyes and less of a nose? It's crazy. Now, not everyone thought this, of course. We went from full noses to longish lines, and now we have triangles, you know, Sailor Moon, Detective Conan, Evangelion, One Piece. Look how small these noses are. They're lines, they're shadows, they're triangles. That's all the three noses we have. Where are the big bulbous Pinocchio noses like we had in 1917? And so then we get shows like, oh, I don't know, Pokemon, the most popular anime of all time, except for maybe One Piece and like Attack on Titan and others. And wow, look at that nose. It's all shadow. It's all shadow. I don't understand. And that brings us into the 2000s, the beginning of the end for noses. Skirt to work. An important thing to keep in mind here is that this is not an animation problem, okay? This is a Japanese problem. Let's look at some Western cartoons from the 2000s, shall we? Boom, Avatar: The Last Airbender, a nose. Justice League, a nose. Teen Titans, a nose. Kim Possible, she has a nose too. And Ben 10, Clone Wars, all of these super popular 2000s, 2000s is what I meant to say. Anime have pretty good noses. These are the most popular anime, popular cartoons of that decade, and they have noses. And do you want to know why? It's because the inbreeding of ideas can't happen because at the same time, you have these shows of normal to small noses. You have shows like The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. You have Teacher's Pet. You have Phineas and Ferb, whose noses are larger than my goddamn penis. And they're like a whole different body part in and to themselves. And so you have these giant noses, you have these little baby noses, medium-sized noses, and as they breed, as the ideas like coagulate together, as they become one, you get normal noses, which is great, right? Because then they can breathe, they can use their noses to sniff. They got good sniffers. And unfortunately, when we go back to anime, that's not the case. And the most popular anime from the 90s had smaller noses and said like, oh, let's just make it smaller. Let's like moify everything. Let's make it even worse. And so you have Inuyasha, which is tiny triangles and shadows. And you have Sakura from Naruto, who barely has a nose from the front, a little bit from the side, but mainly nothing from the front. And you have Bleach, and they're characters, and they don't have fucking noses. And then you have Code Geass, and it's the same thing. And you have Death Note, and it's the same thing. And the noses get narrower and narrower and thinner and fewer lines and more shadows and more triangles. And this isn't the end. It gets worse. And that brings us into the 2010s. The worst, the end, the absolute fuck. Everything is wrong. Everything is going wrong. We have Anohana. Look, Mieko doesn't have a nose. I say look at the nose, but you can't because there is no nose. Any character from My Hero Academia, uh-oh, look, there's no nose. Himiko, Kayako, Mina, Ochako, none of them have noses. Konosuba, same problem. Aqua, Darkness, Megaman, look at the noses. Oh wait, you can't because they're dots. Aqua, my queen, you're literally a goddess. Change your face so you have a nose so you can sniff. How do you exist in a new world without a nose? How can you exist in reality? What would it be like to not have a nose? I'm sorry to people who can't smell. COVID patients, I feel for you, but you lost something, bro. And we can't let the same thing happen to anime characters. And Fubuki and Tatsumaki aren't spared either. I could literally list 90. I could list 90% of the shows from this decade. And I guarantee you, no noses or dot noses, any genetic diversity, any alleles from the past of big noses are lost, gone to history. There's a few holdouts. Violet Evergarden, right? There's a couple that the nose is okay. It's not great. From the side, sometimes in the money shots, it's fantastic. Most of the time, it's just okay. And Attack on Titan, it's okay. And to you goddamn weebs who are like, oh my, Mappa, you ruined Attack on Titan with your 4th season animation CGI of Titans. I don't care, because look at the noses, you freaks, you monsters. You thought that the noses from the 1st season were good? They can't breathe. They're like a pug. They just like hyperventilating over there. And then we have over here, beautiful. You can tell the character apart based on the nose alone. You can see that Armin and Eren are different even though they sound the same with their name. We've made it. We're in the 2020s. And to be honest, not much has changed from 2010s to 2020s in terms of anime. We've reached the final form. Noses are gone 90% of the time. But do you know what has changed? VTubers exploded onto the scene in 2020s over the pandemic. Hololive, the biggest of them. We got Gura, Mori, Kazuna AI, Shirakami, Akai Asto, Iron Mouse, all these other ones that I'm sure I could name that you probably love and are probably disappointed I didn't mention. It doesn't matter. They're all there. And they do some fucking crazy stuff. Like seriously, wow. That concert by Kazuna AI, fantastic. I'm so sad she's gone. Unfortunately, for all the great they're doing, for all the cool stuff they're leading the game in, they're regressing in terms of the anime nose. Look at them. Look at every single one that I'm putting on the screen right now. None of them have a nose. Like, this isn't even funny. Not even a dot anymore. It's less than a dot. It just disappeared entirely. How do you just go from a nose to a line to a shadow to a dot to literally nothing? What's next? Does it go negative? Do their faces start going like concave on themselves? I don't understand. They've never been able to breathe before. Does Gura know what fish smells like when she eats them? No. She just chomps. That's ridiculous. This has gone on long enough, and it's time that we do something about it. So what comes next? You know, I'm just one guy, and I can't do much alone. But together, we have power in numbers. We can change the world. All we have to do is one thing. Call your representatives. Maybe you can write your representatives. It doesn't matter. Get in contact with those in power and demand change. Demand the anime girls get the chance to breathe like their predecessors have. Demand that VTubers get the chance to breathe like all humans should be able to. If we come together, if we unite ourselves under one banner, we can save the world and we can save anime characters and give them the chance to do something that they've never done before. Thank you.